The old methods are dead. Forget paying thousands for cameras, lighting, and sound equipment because the barrier for entry just got burned down. AI puts you back in the driving seat. You don't need permission, you just need a laptop and an idea. I'm Jack, I've been a visual effects artist in the advertising industry for over a decade now, and I've worked for many of the biggest brands on the planet. And in today's video, you'll learn how to stop prompting for camera moves and start directing them. I'll pass on essential skills that will take your AI productions to the next level, so that your audience stops switching off and starts feeling connected. You can write the most incredible script for a scene, but if the camera moves aren't right, all that potential is wasted. Don't worry though, because we're gonna fix that. If you do enjoy today's content, guys, make sure to whack a like on there for me, consider subscribing, and of course, ring that bell notification icon. All right, let's get started. So for today's video, we're over on Artlist, and if you guys do want to go ahead and check them out, you can click the link down below in the description. To get started, we want to head up to the AI toolkit and click into the video and image section. Now, one of the things I really like about this platform is that your generations are organized into individual sessions. So you can see on the left-hand side here, for example, we have a session for image generations and for video generations. And I just want to really briefly check into the image generation scene. We're not going to hang around here for too long because you guys have clicked on this video to look at camera movements, but I did want to show you how we created some of these starting frames. Now, of course, when it comes to generating AI videos, we can just use a text prompt, but me personally, I always go for an image to video workflow. So this is where we'll use a tool like Nano Banana Pro to generate these starting frames and then go on to animate them with a video model like Kling 3, for example. And this just gives us a lot more control when it comes to our end result. And the first step that I always take when it comes to my image generation is setting up a key visual like the one you can see on screen now. So for the key visual, we really want to lock down aspects like character, location, and style, because everything is going to be born from this image. So very, very important to get it right. And just to give you guys an example, if we click on this tab here that says edit, we're going to be using this key visual as an image reference. We already have Nano Banana Pro selected. We want to set our aspect ratio to 16:9. We want to select the 4K resolution as well. We can select the amount of images we want back. Let's just go for one here for this example. And we can put in a prompt, something like show the same image at night. The same woman is laid down, sleeping under a thick fur blanket, and we can send off this. And this is the exact same process that I went through to generate each of the starting frames that you guys can see here. And you can see here we have back our result from Nano Banana Pro. So if we wanted to have a shot where the woman is sleeping under the stars, that is how simple it is with this image model. But as you can see here, we have a really great variety of all sorts of different camera angles here, where our main character is taking part in different actions. She's engaging with different props, different characters. She's in all sorts of different positions and even different times of day as well. So once you have this kind of selection here, we can now go on to animate these starting frames. So let's go ahead and click into the video generation session. Now I want to get started by taking a look at two quite different styles of camera moves that are quite popular at the moment. We have the mocap or robotic arm style move. Now in traditional productions, this is a really expensive bit of kit where you program in these very precise camera moves. You keyframe them essentially. And this really heavy and expensive robotic arm moves the camera around between different points way faster than a human camera operator would be able to. We can actually achieve this look with AI. And we also have the point of view shot or locked rig. And this is where we get the feeling that the camera rig is almost attached to our character. And again, this gives a really unique point of view and a really unique style of movement as well. I'm seeing these types of camera moves being used a lot, so I wanted to start with these because Kling 3 really creates some amazing generations using the prompts I'm going to share with you guys. So the way that I would write these prompts personally would be by using chatgpt. I would put in a prompt like, write me a text prompt for an AI video model that has robotic arm / motion control style rig camera movement, characterized by fast lateral passes, snappy accelerations, but no shake. Ensure the character's face and outfit remain stable and artifact free. And then you just want to go on to describe what you want to see with your generation. This prompt here is essentially a template that's going to lock in that style of camera movement and give you that very specific result. But it's up to you as a creator to convey exactly what you want to see, what you want your character to be doing, or what you want to be happening within your location. And another tip is to say how long you want your generation to be, because you can ask ChatGPT to hit certain key moments and spread them out evenly across, say, 15 seconds, for example, when it comes to Kling 3. So I've got tons of really great examples here, which really nicely capture this very specific style of movement. You can see that we're able to orbit around our character. We're able to go from a wide shot to an extreme close-up incredibly quickly. But actually, this is one of the more kind of relaxed generations. I want to go ahead and show you guys my favorite. And that is this generation here, where the robotic arm rig is performing these really erratic, crazy camera movements, and it's literally like crashing in to that extreme close-up, and you really kind of feel how visceral and expressive this camera move is. So you can see the pretty complex text prompt on the right-hand side here. I'm going to be sure to drop all of these down below in the description, by the way, if you guys want to go ahead and test them out on your own projects. And you can see with this example, ChatGPT has broken up each key moment and numbered them. So we have instant micro snap left, then micro snap right, quick lateral jolts while keeping her face centered via pan compensation. So it's a very detailed prompt here. But this is just a very specific and unique type of camera move that doesn't feel human. And sometimes that's nice to be thrown into your projects for a specific moment that you might want to stand out. Also works really nice for advertising as well. So I think this is a great style of camera movement to add to your toolkit. Now, next I want to go ahead and move on to this point of view style shot or locked rig. So let's go ahead and open this up and take a look here. So for the text prompt, we're saying create an ultra realistic high-speed shot with the camera physically gripping the woman's head as if mounted or tightly held, maintaining a locked trailing perspective. The woman stays centered and stable while the vast mountainous landscape rushes past. Heavy parallax, the woman performs aerial turns and a flip. Clean, precise tracking keeps the woman's head centered. And you guys are probably familiar with this style of shot. The way this would be achieved in a real production is the actor may well be wearing a real rig with the camera attached to it. And this would have to be removed in post by a visual effects artist, for example. But again, it just gives a really unique style of camera move and a really unique perspective as well. And remember, these text prompts can just be used as a framework. If you have a different type of shot, maybe you're seeing an animal, for example, we just swap the word woman out for tiger, cheetah, whatever, and you're going to get a very similar result, because with this prompt framework, we're baking in this type of camera move, and it's up to you to decide how to use it for your own projects. Now moving on to some more traditional but equally as important camera moves for your projects, we have the tilt. And you can see here I've used a start and end frame. Once again, I used Nano Banana Pro to create this image of this rune carved into this snowy stone floor. So that's our starting frame. And then we have this very low angle shot looking up at our character. So Kling 3 is going to go ahead and generate the transition between those 2 points using our text prompt. So we're asking for a smooth vertical tilt upward at constant speed, tripod-like stability, no pan, no roll, no dolly. And just to briefly show you guys how to generate videos in the AI toolkit, if you're not familiar, we want to click on this icon here to switch over to video generation. We can go ahead and drop in our text prompt. To add our starting frame, we're going to click on this icon here. We can just select choose from your generations. So we'd scroll down to find the image of the rune carved into the ground. And then on end frame, which of course is optional, again, we're going to select choose from our creations, and we are looking for this really cool low angle shot of our female character. For the model, we want to go ahead and select Kling 3 because it is the best AI video model on the market right now. Aspect ratio, of course, we want to match our input images, so 16:9. We want audio on, and the length of the generation is really up to you guys. But with a tilt, I would suggest something around 4 to 5 seconds because you don't want that to take too long. Sometimes generations for certain camera moves, you'll get a better result with a shorter length of generation. I want to go ahead and make sure Pro is selected. And you also have the option for negative prompts as well. It's often quite useful to put in things like music and dialogue here if you don't want either of those things baked into your generations, which is very helpful when it comes to filmmaking projects. You might want to go ahead and add in your own music when it comes to the edit itself, for example. So you don't really want those things baked into your generations. That's the process for generating videos within the Artlist AI toolkit. So let's go ahead and look at the generation that we got back. And this camera move works really well as a reveal because we're showing a certain item and then we are tilting up to see the character and their reaction. Instantly we know as a viewer that whatever we're looking at is very important. We might not know why, but it's significant to the character, and it's quite an interesting way to carry out that reveal. Obviously, there are loads of different ways that you can use the tilt camera move. Again, we could have used it in reverse as well. So started with looking at our female character to kind of preserve the reveal a little bit longer. So the viewer is thinking, why is she having this reaction? And then tilting down to show the rune carved into the ground. It does give the feeling of discovery, but also we feel a little bit intimidated by our female character because of that low angle and because of the style of reveal as well. She does look very kind of dominant thanks to this camera move and the angle itself working together. And the next style of camera move I want to look at is the Dolly In. So I really love this shot here where we have our character kind of hiding away in a cave. She has this strange kind of alien fur draped over her and she's having a sip of coffee from this tin cup. You can see for the text prompt we've said camera dollies forward in a straight line toward the woman. Smooth, stabilized motion, no zoom. The woman sips from the cup of coffee and wraps up in the blanket. So we're combining a text prompt to describe the camera move with a description of the action we want our character to carry out. I use dolly camera moves in and out in my projects all the time because I just think they feel really cinematic, and it works really well here because the woman is kind of like wrapping up, and as she does, we feel like we're getting closer with her. So it kind of evokes that feeling of like trying to get cozy and that closeness that we're feeling with the character as the viewer. It's like we're being drawn into her warm cave. We can feel the fire against us. And I also use this on the shot of all of the robots burning as well. And that's what I mean by it gives a very different feeling because of what we're seeing here. It's kind of just like amplifying the intensity of what we're looking at, and it makes it feel kind of savage really, and a bit intimidating, a bit scary, and also the way that our female character is acting kind of sad as well. There's a lot of like emotional response due to the type of dolly camera move that we're using and what we're seeing on screen at the time. And we've got another really nice example here of the camera move in reverse. So a dolly move out or a pull back. You can see the text prompt over here, very similar to the original one I was just showing you. We have a starting frame, a really nice macro close-up of this blue flower kind of wedged into a frozen lake, and then a medium shot of our female character reaching down to pick it up. So once again, Kling is going to create a transition between the start and end frame using our text prompt. We go ahead and watch the result that we've got here. Really nice. Again, it works similar to the tilt by allowing us to experience this reveal, but I don't know, I kind of prefer this to the tilt. I mean, it works better in my opinion for the kind of layout of this scene, the blocking, I guess we should say, like where the prop is versus where our character is. But yeah, dolly in, dolly out, amazing versatile camera move that you guys should be using a lot. And the next camera move I want to look at is this handheld style here. For the prompt, we've said the woman sprints forward dramatically, frantic handheld camera movement with natural shake and imperfect stabilization, responsive, slightly uneven translation with no intentional zoom. And here we're creating a sense of raw realism, kind of anxiety, chaos and intensity. We feel out of control because the camera operator is kind of out of control themselves. They're struggling to keep up and capture this motion. And I personally think this style of camera move, it has that documentary style gritty feel, and it works really well when it comes to sci-fi and fantasy projects because it helps to ground the material that you're seeing. This is kind of the complete opposite to like a Dolly In or Dolly Out, very cinematic feeling camera move. Here, it just feels incredibly frantic, very raw, very documentary. So again, you're feeling very connected to the character, but in quite a different way. She looks like she's having an intense moment, right? She's struggling to get to where she needs to. And we kind of feel the same thanks to the type of camera movement. And in contrast now, I want to go ahead and show you guys a tracking shot on the exact same starting frame because it's a really interesting point of comparison. So it's this one here. So for the tracking camera shot, we're saying have the camera translate forward at a steady running pace, matching the moving subject's speed, stabilize tracking, no zoom. So the performance itself is very, very similar, but the type of camera move is very different. This one here feels a lot more cinematic, and we feel a lot more in control as a viewer as well. With the Shaky handheld device filming, we felt as out of control as our female character here, but I feel a little bit more of a disconnect here. I feel like I'm in control and I feel like I'm just witnessing what's happening. I don't feel like I'm part of it. So really it depends what you want. There are use cases for both, but I think this is a really interesting point of comparison to have that handheld device movement versus the tracking style camera shot. Again, two really amazing and powerful camera moves to have as part of your AI projects. Now I want to go ahead and take a look at the crane or jib up. This is an amazing reveal of the environment. Let's go ahead and open up this generation here. So you can see that the crane kind of raises up into the sky. I mean, it's going so high, it's kind of more like a drone shot if we're trying to talk about it in a realistic sense. But the style of camera move feels like a crane shot, right? So what we have is that same low angle that we used for one of our earlier generations. As the crane rises up with the camera mounted into it, we really get a sense of scale. Our female character feels tiny amongst this insanely vast, snowy, mountainous environment. So this works really well as a reveal as well, but this time for our location. We really do feel that sense of scale. The text prompt, we've said camera rises vertically upwards smoothly, boom up, to reveal the vast, snowy, mountainous landscape, making the woman appear small in comparison. No pan, no tilt, and no zoom. And you can see here that I've had to put in a description of the environment because we remember we haven't used an end frame. We're not transitioning to an image that we've created with Nano Banana, for example. The AI video model doesn't have any context of what we want the end result to look like. So we do need to go ahead and give it some kind of context for that to say, this is what I want you to reveal. Luckily, with the snowy landscape, it works really well. There's nothing kind of too complicated going on there. If you wanted something really intricate, let's say like a castle or some ruins or like some crazy spaceship or something, I'd suggest creating a finishing frame to transition to. But another really cool, really intense cinematic camera move for you guys to use there. And the next shot I want to go ahead and take a look at is a crash zoom. So once again, we're transitioning between a start and end frame. We start on this medium shot and then we crash zoom in to the extreme close-up where we can really appreciate how amazing Nano Banana Pro is and how it works really nicely alongside Kling 3. Here, we're kind of having that emotional intensity, and we can also appreciate those kind of visible pores and the texture of the face paint as well. Really cool. For the text prompt, very fast optical zoom in with an abrupt stop, framing the woman's face. So again, we want to be clear about where we want to finish. Camera position fixed, no dolly. You can see I've gone for a 3-second generation here to make sure that the crash zoom happens quite quickly. Remember, of course, guys, you can, if you want to, go ahead and speed the crash zoom up in the edit. It's better for it to be slower as your AI generation, and then you go ahead and speed it up in the edit if you want to. It just gives you a little bit more flexibility. We've got another example here where we start off on a wide shot and then we crash in to that extreme close-up. So we do get more of a sense of scale, more of a sense of location, and that crash zoom feels even more dramatic. Again, this is just using the exact same text prompt as before. So the next camera move I want to take a look at is a whip pan. Now, this isn't going to work for every project because it does have a very specific feel. This camera move has a lot of character to it, I feel. So again, we're using a start and end frame. The start frame is the wolf and the end frame is our female character ready to fight it. And again, we have a reveal happening here. So the camera is very quickly whipping from one subject to another. We could be whipping from a location to another or from a prop to the character. There's all sorts of ways to use this within your projects. The text prompt, extremely fast horizontal whip pan with heavy motion blur, then a sharp settle into a stable frame. No translation, no zoom. The wolf and woman prepare for battle. So once again, a description of the camera move and a pretty simple description of the action that we want our characters to be showing us on screen. Now, like I say, you can really effectively use this type of camera move as a transition in your film. So we could go from day to night. We could go from sunny weather to rainy weather. We could go to a completely different location. Thanks to the amount of motion blur, it makes those transitions feel pretty smooth and natural. But here we're kind of evoking that feeling. I don't know, it feels kind of cheesy. It's cool as well. I like the result, but like I said at the start, this isn't going to work for every single one of your projects. I think it gives me a feeling of like a fighting game or something like that, like more of like a stylized movie or TV show, I guess I should say. It's got that kind of feel, right? Now let's take a look at something quite different. We have this orbit or 360 wrap shot. Now this camera move can feel very epic, but it can also feel, with the right context, quite romantic as well. You do see these orbit or 360 shots used in a lot of romance films. And for me, I think it just feels kind of poetic, and maybe a little bit like a dance when you're seeing your characters kind of engaging with each other. Here, of course, it feels a lot more epic and kind of gives me a little bit of a feeling of like chaos and like our character is seeing something that's kind of overwhelming her. Just to give you guys a nice sense of contrast here, we have this nice starting frame where we have our female character kind of standing up on a snowy peak and she has her sword in hand. Now, using the same prompt, which is full 360-degree stabilized orbit around the woman at constant radius and speed, maintaining consistent framing, no zoom, gives a very different feel here, right? Because we're not using the extreme close-up anymore. This really is being used as more of a environment reveal. So we're getting a sense of the location because of the stance that our character has, because she's kind of up a little bit higher. She looks very proud, very strong. It makes her come across very differently to the first generation. And that's what I'm saying. You can use these camera moves in all sorts of different ways. They really affect the starting image completely differently. So there you go, guys. I really do hope you've enjoyed today's video. I've shared a whole load of really useful camera moves and the prompts that you can use to get those results within your AI projects. Now remember that by creating our starting images, we can be a lot more specific about our end result. And remember as well how powerful it can be to use the start and end frame workflow with a video model like Kling 3, because again, you're being more specific. You're rolling the dice less, right? You're increasing your odds of getting the type of generation that you want. And everyone loves that because it means you're going to waste less credits in the process. My recommendation, create a load of really varied camera angles with your starting frames with a tool like Nano Banana Pro, and then go on into Kling 3, generate your videos, animate those images by bringing them to life with a variety of different camera angles. And just think about how you want the viewer to feel when they're experiencing each individual shot. What emotional reaction do you want to get from your viewer? Because once you start getting into that mindset, you really are going to become an AI filmmaker. You're going to start to direct the generations rather than just sitting there kind of mindlessly prompting. You're really thinking about the results that you want back. How are you going to further the plot? How are you going to tell the story that you want to? And how are you going to keep your viewer engaged? Guys, if you have enjoyed today's content, make sure to whack a like on there for me. If you're new, consider subscribing, and of course, ring that bell notification icon so you never miss any future content. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'm going to throw up some of my other videos on the screen right now if you do want to go ahead and check out some of the other tutorials that I've posted. Best of luck with your own projects, guys, and I'll catch you in the next video.